This man took a pair of worthless sneakers and used his genius to make the Nike company incredibly successful. The title of this movie is Air, and it's based on a true story. In 1984, Converse and Adidas reign supreme in the athletic shoe market. Nike holds only 17% of the market. We meet Sonny Vaccaro. Sonny is a Nike basketball talent scout. His job is to sign contracts with athletes promoting their sneakers. Sonny is well versed in basketball, and thanks to this, he makes good money on sport betting in casinos. From a conversation between Sonny and his friend Howard, we find out that things are going horribly for Nike. Athletes are not willing to cooperate with them. NBA stars choose Converse, rappers love Adidas. There are even songs dedicated to these sneakers. They are considered trendy and cool. Nike is not cool. Sure, they're good at selling running shoes, but nobody wants their basketball sneakers. A meeting on the marketing department begins. The workers are discussing young athletes. They need to sign contracts with 3 of them. One of the most promising basketball players is Michael Jordan. However, everyone is sure that Jordan will sign a contract with Adidas. Nike can't afford the contracts with top players. The team recommends less expensive players, but Sonny criticizes them harshly. He keeps a close eye on basketball scores. All these promising stars will soon be out of the league. Investing in them is useless. All except Jordan. The meeting is over, but Sonny's not getting off that easy. He finds his boss, Rob, even in the closet. Sonny claims that the budget is too small. $250,000 for 3 players is nothing. If they don't do something about it now, Nike will be out of the market and they'll all lose their jobs. Rob suggests that Sonny doesn't waste his time talking. He'd better come up with an idea no one else has. And Sonny does have such an idea. He doesn't want 3 third-rate players. He wants one Michael Jordan. Rob finds him insane. Then Sonny decides to not waste time on him, but to appeal to higher authority. We see a luxurious office with a board Phil Knight. That's the CEO of the Nike company. Sonny asks Phil for at least $500,000. He refuses the request. The board's been planning to shut down the basketball department for a long time. No one would spend so much money on them, but Sonny is very persistent. He's convinced that basketball is the future of the company. Unable to get the desired result, Sonny returns home. A commercial for tennis rackets appears on the TV. The Wimbledon star boasts of that the racket was made especially for him, and now everyone on the planet wants to buy the same one. Looking for ideas, Sonny watches a basketball game, and suddenly he notices this. You didn't notice anything, did you? Don't worry, Sonny is about to explain everything. He rushes to his boss, interrupts his business meeting and claims he found a solution. But Rob doesn't see anything special on the recording either. Sonny explains that this is the match in which Michael Jordan made the greatest shot of his career. It seems to be a coincidence. The star of the team was a completely different guy. Yet there are no coincidences. Sonny notices that the team's entire strategy was tailor-made for Jordan. The star of the team acted as a decoy. In fact, the coach relied on the 18-year-old boy. But why? Why would an experienced coach take such a risk on an important game? Sonny believes he did it because he considered Michael Jordan a genius, which means Jordan is the guy worth betting on. They should invest all their budget into him and create a signature shoe line, just like the racket manufacturers created a signature line for the Wimbledon star. Alas, Rob isn't enthusiastic about this idea. Howard thinks his friend Sonny is crazy too. Everyone knows Michael Jordan is an Adidas fan. Howard says the guy would rather sit on a thorn bush than come to Nike, and Sonny's crazy idea will get him fired. Still, no one can stop this man. He calls Falk, Michael Jordan's sports agent, who has a rather scandalous reputation. Sonny's stubbornness earns him respect. Falk admits that Adidas can offer Jordan $250,000, so if Nike offers the same amount, they'll have a chance. Sonny goes to the CEO. Obviously, Phil is furious. He reminds the employee that the business is not a casino. You can't bet all your money on a rookie who hasn't even played in the NBA. Sonny begs for help. He mentions that Phil had once risked everything too and managed to establish a great shoe company. Now, Sonny is ready to risk his career. After all, Jordan is talented and has a bright future. Sonny calls the basketball player's agent once again, but Falk refuses to arrange a meeting. Sonny asks what about the athlete's parents. Falk becomes furious and forbids calling them. Stalking the family is a violation of a basic rule of business etiquette. In search of allies, Sonny flies to Los Angeles. There he meets a famous coach, George Reveling. The coach admits that he has already talked to Jordan about Nike. He replied that for $250,000 and a red Mercedes he would sign a contract with anyone, except for Nike. He really hates their sneakers. Sonny asks Reveling about the athlete's family. It turns out that the mother makes all the decisions, but if Sonny contacts her, bypassing the agent, he'll lose his job. Nevertheless, Reveling encourages Sonny to not give up. He shares the story of his youth when he went to a rally of Martin Luther King, and even got a paper with his brilliant speech, except that the words on the sheet were completely different. It turns out that Martin Luther King changed his speech during the performance. If it weren't for that, the entire American history would have taken a different course. The next day, the boss doesn't find Sonny at work. Turns out he's already in North Carolina. That's where Michael Jordan's parents live. The man drives to their home. This is against the rules, but Sonny's persistence impresses the athlete's mom. She won't let the insolent man talk to her son, yet she agrees to hear him out. Sonny claims her Michael is a real diamond, but signing a contract with Adidas or Converse would be a mistake. Sonny offers a bet. He can describe the cause of each meeting in detail. Mrs. Jordan should ask specific questions and Sonny will predict the answers. For example, the Converse should be asked what distinguishes Michael from other athletes. They won't be able to answer. After all, he's just another nameless rookie for them. At the meeting with Adidas, she has to ask who runs the company. Their founder died recently. Now, the members of the board are focused on a power struggle instead of good players. If Sonny's predictions come true, he asks Mrs. Jordan for one thing, a meeting with her son. After all, Nike is the only company that realizes how special he is. Jordan's agent is furious. He promises to sue Sonny for this trick. Still, he admits that Jordan's mom has accepted the appointment. It's scheduled for Monday. The CEO of Nike is terrified. To make the meeting happen, he has to approve spending the entire budget on one rookie. Phil promises to think about it and give the answer on Sunday. That satisfies Sonny. He heads over to Peter's house, who works as a designer. Sonny asks Peter to come up with the best-looking sneakers in history during the weekend. Moreover, they have to be personalized for Michael Jordan. Even though Mrs. Jordan has already agreed to a meeting, she is now just heading off to negotiate with Converse. Sonny was right. These guys don't consider Jordan a genius. He's just a way for them to make a lot of money. Meanwhile, the Nike team is figuring out how to make the sneakers unique. Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls. The guys decide to make the sneakers using colors of his team, red and black. However, the NBA has strict requirements for footwear. 51% of the sneaker must be white. Son is running out of ideas. That's when Rob comes to his rescue. He offers to make a red and black sneakers, and they'll just have to pay a fine for every game Jordan wears them on court. The scandal with the fines can provide them with newspaper headlines and publicity. That same night, Peter comes up with a name for the creation. It's going to be Air Jordan. Sunday comes. Rob warns Sonny that they'll all be fired if the deal falls through. Well, there's not much risk to Sonny himself. While Rob has a young daughter, the man realizes he's involved a lot of people in this affair. Now he may ruin their lives. The conversation is interrupted by the designer Peter. He has finished making the design. Meanwhile, Mrs. Jordan is bored in a meeting with Adidas representatives. She asks who is now in charge of their company. The members of the board of directors start arguing. Sonny predicted this, which means he won the bet fairly. Sunday night, Phil rushes in his luxury car to to Nike's office. He decided to trust his team. Sonny gets $250,000 for the deal. The guys are brainstorming a strategy for the meeting. Rob informs them that the marketing department is already preparing a cool video presentation. Here comes the most significant day in Nike's history. Michael Jordan and his family arrive at the company's headquarters in a white limousine. The meeting doesn't go well. Everyone is making silly jokes and feeling awkward. The athlete is not impressed with the red and black sneakers. Rob turns on a video presentation. Sonny notices that the young basketball player is getting bored. At this point, he decides to take a desperate step and turns off the presentation. The thing is, Sonny recalls a conversation about Martin Luther King. He decides to do the same thing. Since nobody is listening to him, he needs to change the subject. Sonny informs Jordan that he should forget about the money. Adidas and Converse will pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars, but only Nike will make him immortal. After all, sneakers are just shoes, but when a legend puts them on, they'll go down in history. The entire world will remember Michael Jordan, and the entire world will wear Air Jordan. Sonny is finishing his presentation. He's done everything he could. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the decision. Sonny is waiting for a little longer, and then the phone rings. Alas, that's just Howard. He's reporting that Adidas has countered with the same offer. In addition, they've promised the guy a car. Alas, Sonny has nothing more to offer Jordan. He's desperate. It's obvious that the young guy will prefer a new car over an everlasting fame. But the phone rings again. It's Mrs. Jordan. She's making her final offer. Her son will sign a contract with Nike, only if he gets a part of the revenue from every pair of Air Jordans sold. Sonny is horrified. He explains that the shoe business doesn't work that way. However, Mrs. Jordan is very persistent. Her son is a genius, therefore he deserves special terms. Sonny is meeting with the CEO. He has no expectations and has already given up on his dream. However, Phil has already believed in him. He agrees to pay a percentage of the sales. Sonny calls Mrs. Jordan and tells her the great news. If her son becomes popular, sales will skyrocket and he'll be well off for the rest of his life. The man once again asks for a personal conversation with Michael. This time, his mother allows them to talk. Sonny finally realizes that his dream has come true. The entire office is very excited about the promising deal. Jordan's agent insinuates that Sonny was merely exploited. Other companies would never agree to give the athlete a percentage of sales. Jordan's mom realized that Nike was desperate and demanded a unique term from them. But Sonny doesn't care about that. The deal is closed. Phil lies in a dark office and worries. They did a very stupid thing and risked absolutely everything. For what? Air Jordan sneakers would hardly bring them more than $3 million. That's how Sonny Vaccaro's insane venture ends. But the story of Nike is just beginning. Phil's guess was wrong. Within the first year, Air Jordans brought him not $3 but $162 million. Michael Jordan quickly rose to fame and eventually became a basketball legend. In 2003, Nike not only exceeded its rival but even absorbed the Converse company. All thanks to the fact that one Sonny Vaccaro risked everything and triumphed. What are you willing to do for your dreams? Give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll make new recaps of cool movies. Sounds like a great deal to me. I'll see you later.